much Chick-fil-A.
We could be the blind leading the blind, as they like to say, but
Yeah.
If I know the way down the fucking hallway and you ain't never been down the hallway, I can help you.
Right.
And that's how I look at it. Like, I haven't trained physically since January, but I've been studying. We've been talking. We've been, like, picking each other's brains, talking strategies, sharing, like, instructionals to watch.
This man over here, on the other side of these headphones, be a 4-stripe white belt in gi.
Yes.
With 0 training since January. And how much training did you have before that?
Before January?
Yeah, how much time did you take off before January?
Oh, maybe like I had like probably 5 training sessions since like November.
Right. So this dude basically didn't do jiu-jitsu for almost a year.
Yeah.
At least what, 7 months?
I could say confidently I had less than 10 sessions in probably a year.
And here's the crazy part is he really wasn't studying when he got to Ohio. He really wasn't even looking at jiu-jitsu. I would tell this dude, like, hey, man, when are you going to get back on this jiu-jitsu? And he would be like, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole right now because I can't train. This dude would not want to do that. Then I started talking about doing this competition. And he's like, you know what? I want to do the competition too. And he, 2 weeks?
We started talking about the competition 2 weeks. I don't think I was really bought into doing it until really I showed up. Like, I wasn't full. If we're being honest, I told you I would do it, but I wasn't fully bought in.
We're talking about a 1-stripe white belt, probably should be a 2-stripe, but he's a 1-stripe. Shows up, no coach, with 2 other white belts, having not rolled in months, and only watched a little bit of jiu-jitsu instructionals that he had available to him, and ended up beating a 4-stripe white belt for a gold.
Shout out.
The shit's relative, dog.
It is. Jerry Bear, I know you're fucking listening to this. At Verado Adjacent on Instagram, people go out there and blow his shit up, talk all the shit. He's still there. He's still paying dues, and he's not going to class. He's just sitting around drinking fucking wine and being happy. Stop being happy. Go to jiu-jitsu.
I don't know. Like, that experience kind of showed me that you can kind of do like what Jacob and I do, where we just throw the mats out in the base gym and we kind of cover stuff on our own. Like this week we've been doing stand up, and we were both wrestlers, so we pretty much just go at it in the wrestling. Like, we drill takedowns, we drill arm drags, we drill snap downs, we watch videos on new ways to hit all these moves, and we just continue to add more to the bag, and then also get all the cardio right, get all the feel right, do all the things to where it, like, when we get in competition, it doesn't feel foreign to us to hit it. Like, everything that we're doing is basically geared towards doing it for competition, and I feel like a lot of jiu-jitsu players like gear it towards the art. I think that's the difference, is that if you gear your training towards like trying to be a black belt, you're going to have a different experience than gearing your training towards winning.
Oh man, I wholeheartedly agree, because this was all of our first tournament, for those of you that didn't know. All my time I spent doing jiu-jitsu, like when I was actually doing it back in Phoenix, I didn't have, like, I was just soaking. I was a sponge. I just wanted to soak up anything and everything that was coming at me. I looked at little things that I found myself in, like different positions or like submissions that I would kind of like naturally end up in. So I like went down those rabbit holes and like things that I found interesting, but I never really studied or drilled or trained with like a game plan, a purpose, a strategy until like that week before, when we're like, well, we're going to do this competition. Then like a couple weeks before that, I started drilling strategy for you based off of like what I know you like to do. So I started watching that stuff, but I wasn't doing it for me. I was kind of aiming it to your game plan. You know what I mean? And then,
well, yeah, you kind of mentioned that you wanted to like help me succeed. And that was the other thing, is that we have this like little team dynamic
facts.
to where we all want each other to win.
Yeah. Like,
So it's like we all look at each other's game with like a really critical eye, and then try to like tell each other like, hey, you need more of this.
Yeah.
You need more of this. Like,
hey,
I see this hole in your game.
there's a hole here. Yo, you're good at this. Don't be stingy with it. You know what I mean?
Right. And like in competition, I'm not sitting here telling Jacob, the wrestler in competition, to try to throw, like shit that he doesn't know. I'm like, wrestle fuck that dude.
Yeah. Snap that man's
Like,
fucking neck.
Toss that dude. I don't care. Don't do jiu-jitsu at all.
That was just like
wrestle him.
In his one gi match when he was trying to cross collar old boy and he was blocking his wrist. I was like, I told you because I can't yell. I was like, tell him to fucking like stop that shit. Like, don't even waste your fucking time on that cross collar. Like, wrestle fuck him.
Yeah, just get up, dip his ass again.
Exactly. Get two more.
And let's be honest, he went gold and bronze.
Mm-hmm.
He went bronze in gi, and he had never put a gi on.
I had to tie his fucking belt and send him out on the mat, and they were looking at us crazy.
So when y'all say is the blind leading the blind, well, your blind people suck.
Excuse me, but those of you that follow my Snapchat, you see me try to cut to 185. That wasn't it. I'm actually going to try and do it right this time and make 185 because I feel like I low-key had a size advantage at the 200-pound limit.
You definitely had like the guys that you went against you were stronger than them.
Facts. Like even
like I could tell that you didn't have the gas tank, but you had like enough technique and enough strength to manage it, and that was kind of the same as Jacob. Jacob is now like he's fully aware after this week that his gas tank is compromised.
And I'm not going to sit here and say like that we're so good at jiu-jitsu, even in the white belt region. I just think that we understand how to strategize and do sports. And when you look at jiu-jitsu as a competition, it's now a sport less than like an art.
We molded our game. Like everyone watches, like if you watch my match, like I will tell you exactly what I trained. I realized that white belts don't know how to break guard. 100% white belts don't know how to break guard. They know how to stay in guard and they know how to pass a guard, but they don't know how to break closed right. So if you know how to manage closed guard if you know how to put somebody in closed guard and manage posture, they are not going to be able to break your guard at the white belt, at the low tier white belt level. They don't know it. They don't know it.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, it was unbelievably apparent. Like if you go watch it, I saw this coming. That was what I studied. I said, man, I feel very safe and I feel very relaxed and closed. Let's figure out how to do closed guard. Click on Gordon Ryan, no gi, closed guard, systemizing the closed guard. Boom, right? And I just watched Gordon Ryan. First two videos, I don't even go through the whole thing because I don't need to get into the complexities of closed guard because guess what? I'm a white belt. So I just rewatched closed guard, right? So all I did to this dude was exactly what I planned on doing, which was not allowing him to get his posture. And if he did, to break it once again, to hang on his neck, to go up on an elbow and pendulum up to threaten a back take, make him get out of that. And then recenter. And that's what he did. Because I said, worst case scenario with this attempted back take is that he recenters and I don't get it. And that's what I did to this dude for what? Like a minute 45 seconds, probably. So, that was part of the game plan. And then, basically I hung on him forever, which was part of the other thing, right? Because I knew that my worst position would be to go to side control. So I asked my coach, hey, what are some very simple ways to get out of side control? So I figured that out. I was fully relaxed when he put me in side control. And then I went back to full guard, hung on his neck, broke his posture. He was exhausted. His coach is yelling at him to posture up and get out, and I wasn't letting him out. My boy over here yells 2.5 minutes, which was my mark to know that if I'm down on points that I need to start chasing a sub or trying to get up top. So I did what I've seen on the UFC a great many a times, and that you put your foot on the damn hip and you boot the son of a bitch off of you. And what did he do? What does his tired Ron ass do when I push him off? Not hunt me back down, right? Because he knows he doesn't want to be there. Because I just hung on him for a minute and a half.
Yeah.
Right?
He was not doing
What's
well
he
there.
do? He gets up and recenters me. Cool, thanks, bro. Like, now you're giving me a shot. I politely don't inside sweep him off the mat, by the way. And I maintain my underhooks, head position, and wrist control while he shoots a shitty single. And then I practice the move that I literally practiced the day before. The sub that I practiced the day before.
In the hotel
which
room.
was the high percentage chokes. Shout out Lackland Giles for high percentage chokes. Guillotine. And I hit the guillotine spot.
Deep, too. Like,
Without
deep.
failure. And got my sub. Like it was easy. Everything that I did, I drilled. And it was a very simple game plan based off of who I am.
Yeah. Nothing fancy, nothing complex. Got in there. He passed your guard off rip. Weren't expecting that. You reset, went back to the same simple game plan. Boom. It worked.
How many pendulum sweeps did I miss that match?
Unfucking countable.
And pendulum sweep is one of the staples in guard, in sweeps. It is like the basic, simple sweep.
It's one of my
And I missed it so many times.
You can go in there with a good game plan and beat someone who's better at jiu-jitsu than you, because that guy I went against in the gi, 4-stripe, clearly knows more than I do. He chased the back really well, and I'm not going to make an excuse. I am going to low-key make an excuse. The chicken sandwiches were vengeful at that point in time. I was nauseous because we pull in. We went to Chick-fil-A. Me and Jacob smacked 2 chicken. Well, he didn't. I smacked 2 chicken sandwiches and fucking waffle fries. And then
God, I love those waffle fries.
doused that shit in fucking honey mustard. We walk
Shout out to honey
in
mustard.
thinking it's going to be the rules meeting at 12 o'clock, and they're like, no, we did
No,
that.
sir.
Matches are already effing going, and they're like, Zach Taylor, Matt 3. And I'm like, oh, shit. I just walked
And then the
fuck
first
in.
dude didn't show.
Then he didn't show up, so I was like, cool. And then 15 minutes later, they're like, all right, you got this dude. I look over. That dude was bodied the fuck up. Like, he was solid as a rock. And he had 4 stripes on his white belt, and I was just like, oh, shit. You know what I mean? I was like, here we fucking go. He knew more stuff than me, but I was able to just interrupt it and then continue with my game plan, which was I'm going to pass your guard, I'm going to maintain side control, and I'm going to try to finish you. I'm trying to isolate an arm and finish you. But
Right.
he knows clearly way more jiu-jitsu than me, but I don't think that he walked in there with a good game plan, if I'm being honest.
No.
Because just
No.
feeling him and then
Well, I don't think a
watching-
lot of these people do a game plan.
that's the point I'm trying to make is if you can cater a good game plan and then train yourself to adhere to that as a white belt, I think that means almost as much, if not more, than what you know technique wise. I like that we're pressure testing this theory that it's like, you might know more jiu-jitsu than me, you might be higher ranked than me, but
Right.
can I out game plan? Can I out coach you essentially? Like, you have a coach, I don't have
Yeah.
a coach, but can I still out coach you?
Right. We have a running joke that I'm the coach
Everyone
because
thinks
everyone
he's
thought
the
I was a coach.
I'm not the coach. I'm just a white belt.
So everyone thinks I'm the coach.
It was funny.